4 years in, not make a dime, spend a whole bunch of money every single year, study, work our tails off, and then come out in hopes that we can go find something that's going to generate us money. Instead, network marketing says, get in now, and from day one, you can start making money. From day one, you can start leveraging your efforts. From day one, you can start selling a product or sharing something that's valuable to your fellow human being. From day one, all of this is available. But yet we come in and we say in our first 3 months, we're not making 10 grand, or we're not making 100 grand like Chad, or 100 grand a week, or 100 grand every 2 days for him, or whatever it may be. And we start questioning, why is this not working? And I just simply believe the only reason we do that is our perspective is completely skewed. None of us on this line, none of the leaders on this panel have even been in this company for 1 year. You know what that means? All of us are in our freshman year. So none of us are looking for the degree today. However, there's some people moving faster than others, but it doesn't matter when you already know you're going to graduate. I've got zero doubt in my mind that I'm gonna graduate. Now, what's graduating in this company? It's Grand President Millionaire. I mean, that's probably the best way to say that's your degree, you know, unless they come up with another position called Double Grand President Millionaire. But right now, your degree is Grand President Millionaire. Now, there's some other accolades along the way, you know, President Millionaire and some of the other positions that are very high in rank. But the real degree is Grand President Millionaire. And so my thought is this, look, I'm not saying that it has to take you 4 years to do it. I'm not in any way saying that, so don't misunderstand my message. But I am saying is that how are you even considering not following through with at least going through the period of time that it takes to win, when you automatically do that for something like school, knowing that you're not making any money unless you get a side job, which has nothing to do with your school, but you go through that just in hopes, and you come out 4 years thinking in your mind, this is normal, that I haven't made a dime, I built up all this student debt, and I got to pay it all back, pay the loan back. But yet we get in this, and we say, I'm not making 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month, I've been in for 6 months, which would still be your freshman year, probably first semester, and you're ready to quit. So here's what I'm saying. You've got to put those blinders on the same way a horse does, or the same way that the person controlling the horse does, and they put it on it. What that means is, look, guys, don't look left, don't get right, don't get distracted with this stuff over here, don't get distracted with this stuff over there. Just know you got to keep on galloping and going this way. And you got to stay along with those of us that are also riding this same path. And I can tell everybody here that all that you've seen thus far, in my opinion, 23 years of experience in this, is we have seen a foundation that has been laid for this company to do extraordinary things. That's it. Everything you've seen thus far. Now, people have made a whole bunch of money during this foundation, but the real launching pad, the real big time, long back end money, you haven't even seen all the players that are going to be a part of that group. So my point to all of you is, every single one of you has the ability to be one of those individuals. It's a matter of what we do now that determines where we end up in the next year, in the next 2 years, in the next 4 years, which is a normal time frame to start stepping back and analyzing whether or not you're getting close to your degree. Some of you will get the degree in 12 months. Some of you are going to get your degree in 2 years, whatever. But my thing is, if it takes 4 years and you hit Grand President Millionaire and you're making $500,000 a month, is that okay, relatively speaking, comparing it to going 4 years in higher education with no money and coming out with debt up over your ears? So have that perspective the right way, guys, and just know that it's not going to fall in your lap. The same way you wouldn't graduate if you never went to class. The same way you wouldn't graduate if you never took an exam, if you never studied. If you goofed off the whole time, you already know when everybody else is walking with cap and gown, you already know you're not going to get yours. And so don't blame anybody but the person that looks in the mirror. So I'm telling all of you how I'm viewing this is that we're just getting started, guys. We're all still freshmen right now. So let's really see where this thing is going to shake out by the time some of us are juniors and seniors in this deal. And some of you are going to hit Grand President Millionaire maybe in your freshman year. Some of you are going to wait until grad school for you to hit. But the point is, it can still get done. So I'm hoping each of you understand that. I hope I maybe tweaked a little bit of the mindset. And William, I'm going to turn the call back over to you. I know we've got great info. I can't wait to hear from my brother, Mr. Travis Flaherty. So I'll turn it back over to you, William. I hope it was insightful, and I hope it had some value in the content.
Absolutely, Steve. As always, we appreciate you, and certainly couldn't have said it better myself, so I certainly won't try. I think the key is, as you said, the long-term thinking and focus. And as I like to say, you know, people talk about this business not being a sprint, but being a marathon. I like to say instead that it is a series of sprints, right? You run as hard as you can, you know, but you're also pacing yourself in terms of being able to recover and then run hard again, as opposed to thinking that we're just going to jog along without a sense of urgency. So a lot of the things that Steve talked about are particularly applicable when you think about the kinds of things the company is doing as well. And so we wanted to give you that information hot off the press, as they say, because it just came out midday today in terms of the promotions that the company is running for us this week. And this is why I like to liken it to a series of sprints, because you still want to run hard to take advantage of them. And certainly to share with you what they are, number one, and how to take advantage of them, number two. Couldn't be a better person than somebody who I've gotten to know just while I've been here in the world. Have a tremendous amount of respect for him and his wife and what they've done in the industry, but also what they're doing here in the world. His humility, his a willingness to kind of lay it out on the line. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I was impressed to hear him come to Bangkok and say, you know, I was very close to president twice and didn't make it, but I'm running hard. Within 2 weeks out of Bangkok, he was there at president, went on to grand president, and is now well on the way to president millionaire. So please, guys, pay close attention to grand president, Mr. Travis Flaherty.
Hey, thank you so much, Steve. That was incredible perspective. I absolutely loved just you sharing. And you know what? I was one of those guys that, you know, I was in grad school, I think, before I finally started to catch on. But I wanted to show you guys something. So this is a book called The 4-Year Career. And my wife and I were blessed to be featured in this book. And it took me about 10 years to get in this book. So I was grad school, but they call it the 4-year career for a reason, because I don't know anywhere else that you can go that in a period of 4 years, you can put yourself and your family into a position that allows you to be able to declare your financial freedom day and do the things that you want to do rather than the things that you have to do. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for Steve, your leadership as well, you, William. I do have some great announcements, but I'm going to ask you guys just to give me 2 minutes, because I came across a very powerful story. And I was just inspired while Steve was talking to share the story. And it's only going to take 2 minutes. But while I do this, I want to just share my screen real quickly so that you guys can see this picture. And I want to just share a story of an eagle with you real quickly. The eagle, guys, has the longest lifespan of its species. It can live up to 70 years. But to reach this age, it has to make a very difficult decision. In its 40th year, the eagle's long and flexible talons can no longer grab prey, which of course serves as its food. Its long and sharp beak becomes bent as well. And so its old-aged and heavy wings, due to their thick feathers, they stick to its chest and make it very difficult to fly as well. Then the eagle is left with only 2 options: to die or to go through a painful process of change. And this process lasts for about 150 days. It's a total of 5 months. The process requires the eagle to fly to the top of a mountain and sit on its nests. And there, the eagle knocks its beak off against a rock until it literally plucks it out. And then the eagle will wait for the new beak to grow back, after which it will pluck out all of its talons. And when its talons grow back, the eagle starts plucking its old-aged feathers. And after this, get this, the eagle takes its famous flight of rebirth, and it lives for 30 more years. And so I shared a story with you because why is change needed? In order to survive and live, we have to start that change process. We sometimes need to get rid of the unpleasant old memories, the negative habits, and our fixed mindset. And only when freed from the past burdens, can we really take advantage of the present, of the opportunity that's before us right now. And if an eagle can make a life-saving and life-changing decision at the age of 40, then why can't we? In order to take on a new journey ahead, you got to let go of all the negative, old limiting beliefs and open up your mind and let yourself fly like an eagle. And when it rains, all birds occupy shelter. But listen to this, the eagle avoids the rain by flying above all of the clouds. So the problem is common to all, but the attitude to solve it makes the difference. And so I wanted to just share that story with you guys. Don't be afraid of the change. Accept it gracefully. My question to you is this. Do you want to fly with the eagles or do you want to scratch with the turkeys? And I can tell you that, when I heard that story today, it inspired me. And I wanted to share that with each and every one of you. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the share here real quickly. And I'm going to share the killer announcements that came out today that I am absolutely fired up about. So the first thing that we have is we have a cyber special that's going on during this cycle only. It started today when they announced it. I believe that was about 11 o'clock today. So when the new cycle started, and it ends at midnight on Monday. So it is just this cycle from Tuesday, November 28th to Monday, December 4th, commission period 218. The first thing is that they announced some extraordinary discounts. So what they're doing is they're both on the family bundle and on the premium bundle. They have discounted those bundles by $200. So on a family bundle, you pay $1,149 instead of $1,349. And you still get 4 Hilo LX bracelets, 4 germanium kits, 4 Hilo LX bands. It does come with 400 SV instead of 500 SV. It pays $115 in fast start bonus, but it's a savings of $200 US, both for the family and the Hilo LX. Guys, this is an opportunity to reach out to anybody and everybody that's been on the fence, that hasn't made that decision, that maybe kind of got lost in translation during the promote or the holidays, whatever the case might be. It's also a great opportunity to be able to reach out to people that maybe you touched base with 3 months ago and they just didn't give you a decision for whatever reason, and just re-engage and let them know that you're still here, that you're still excited, that you could not be more fired up about 2018, and that there are some fantastic incentives that are on the table. Another great way to look at it is from a gift perspective. Summer and I were racking our brain on what to get a couple people for Christmas this year, and we both just kind of looked at each other and were like, what are we thinking? We have the hottest technology that's on the market today, and we have access to those Hilos. What a fantastic gift! And not only are we giving the gift, the gift of health this year, but we're giving the gift that is kind of introducing them to our business, because you can bet that we're going to circle back around with them down the road. And so as soon as we saw this, Summer and I logged in and we ordered a family pack today. So I can tell you that this is a fantastic opportunity to be able to take advantage of just getting some extra inventory. Another thing is if you don't have extra inventory to support your business, to use, share, and demo, to run an exchange program when somebody signs up, I would challenge you to start thinking like a company owner, right? Rather than just somebody that maybe is dabbling in a little side business. Look at this as this is a company. This is your company. And how do you want to run that company? Do you want to run it, just kind of dabbling with it? Or do you want to run it as if it is an actual corporation and you are treating it as such? I can promise you that if you treat it like a business, it'll pay you like a business. Another thing that they announced is that you can actually earn up to 25% TVC, team volume commissions, this cycle. You normally get 20%. So how do you do that? If you sell 2 premium or 2 family bundles, you will earn 25% TVC during this commissionable period cycle, which is the next commissionable period cycle, 219. So again, sell 2 premium or family bundles and you'll earn 25% TVC during the commissionable period of 219. And so that's a 5% raise on all of the sales volume in your entire organization. And finally, the last thing that they announced is anybody that hits diamond this cycle, utilizing this promotion, if you guys get on it and really go push this, and you go diamond this cycle, we've got a Punta Cana trip coming up. I think there's something like 70 people that have already qualified. I know I'm going to be there. I know William's going to be there. I know Steve's going to be there. I know Mike's going to be there. I know Jeremy's going to be there. And this trip is 7 days, guys, Punta Cana, which is going to be amazing. And you have to qualify for Diamond 4 times before I think the qualification is up at the end of March. You have to do it 4 times. But if you hit it this cycle, they're going to count it as twice. So you'll be halfway there to qualifying to be able to go to this trip, to be able to rub shoulders with literally the top earners in this company. And I can tell you that, some of the best mentorship that I ever received didn't necessarily come from a stage. I mean, I've received great wisdom from events, but it's sometimes just those moments where you're sitting down with lunch or you're socializing with a group of people, and that's really where you get to bond, develop those relationships. Steve Carter and I didn't know Steve Carter until Bangkok, Thailand, and next thing I know, he and I are riding in a tuk-tuk taxi 60 miles an hour down the freeway, thinking we're going to die, having a great time somewhere in the middle of the night in Thailand. So, those things and those moments only happen when you are able to go on these trips. So I can tell you that these promotions that they put out for Cyber Week, this is a tremendous opportunity for each and every one of us to reignite our business. Guys, it is time right now to engage. I know some people think, oh, it's the holidays. Let me tell you something. My best months have always been during the holidays. They always have, because people are thinking about the New Year resolutions. They're already thinking about how can I go make some extra money for the holidays. And I can promise you that the work that you put in today, tomorrow, and the rest of December is going to set the stage for the first quarter for you in 2018. And so I can tell you that I spent the entire day yesterday redoing my list. I redid my list yesterday, and I spent today putting people in process. I had 2 people on the afternoon call, and I had 2 people on this evening's call tonight, and that's just the start. So again, take advantage of these promotions. They're there for you to be able to explode your business, and I'm super excited about them. So with that, William, I'm kicking it back to you, brother.
Outstanding, Travis. Again, guys, you heard it there from the master networker and promoter, exactly how he's going to use these presentations, these promotions, and how you can follow his lead. It certainly starts and ends with your own focus and attention to detail and activity. And I know that we have some folks who are actually creating exactly the results that we'd like. And so now we certainly want to recognize an individual who has done a tremendous job. And just let me know, is that you, Travis, or Jeremy?
Yeah, let me go ahead. I want to bring on our president, Mr. Jeremy Reheis. Jeremy's business is booming right now. He's got some great things that are happening in his organization, and I want to turn it over to him to be able to recognize one of his newest diamonds who's just done an outstanding job. So with that, Mr. Jeremy Reheis.
Hey, yeah, I don't even need the introduction. I don't even want it. I'll just be honest right there. I don't deserve any recognition for this one at all. I gotta give props to Landon Dwayne here. He's a panelist on this. He's part of a phenomenal group up there in Utah, and I can't imagine the crap that he's had to go through to get to where he's at. I'm just telling you right now, it's pretty neat and exciting, and I don't want to delve into it, but I can tell you guys right now, get ready. The movement's started, and if you guys think you have excuses of why things aren't working, you don't, okay? Because this guy could give you all of them and then some, and he still didn't use them as an excuse. He used them as ammunition and realized they were just barriers getting in his way, and he blew them out of the water. So, Landon, if you don't mind taking a few minutes explaining who you are, what you did, and how you came to be where you're at, and then I'll wrap it up for that. Congratulations, first off.
Well, thanks, Jeremy. I appreciate it. Definitely has been a tough road for me. So kind of give you guys a little background on me. Before I got involved in this company, I was with another company for about 1.5 years and some change, maybe a little bit longer than that. And I built up a all right network. I came to the realization that the company wasn't moving where I wanted it to go, and I really wanted what everybody's seeking for on this call. I wanted that time freedom. I wanted real money. And I also wanted to change a lot of lives in the process. And I knew that I was not going to be able to do that with the company I was with. So, and it was tough too, because I had burnt through my whole savings. I kind of did it backwards, like most people have when they get into these businesses. You know, they start off part-time, and then eventually it takes over their income. And then they move on to the next thing, which is doing it full-time. Well, I went in at full-time because I was fortunate enough to get my life together in 2009, and I didn't go to college. I was going to attempt it, but I realized it wasn't going to be for me and get me where I wanted to be. So I started actually working my way up in corporate America, and I ended up being a regional manager after being a lonely old salesman at this supplement company, and worked my way up from the bottom to the top because I was the guy willing to do anything and everything to get there. I'd take the shifts. I'd do whatever they needed me to do. And so through that process of doing that and a couple other management positions, I was able to put myself in a financial position that when I did get into that company previous to this one, I was able to go all in and just ride on my savings. And I think that was part of my problem is that I also went into it full time and I didn't have enough, I guess, things pulling me to want to get away from that and get into financial freedom. So at the end of the day, like I said, I ended up saving up a good amount of money, went all in, and I'd spent all of it to build that business. And so it was really hard for me, like I said, to walk away. I was like, man, am I going to really do this? And I had some leadership above me that had brought this opportunity to me. And this is kind of where it all started. And they wanted me to go with them. And when I seen the product and I seen the video, I was like, all right, this is it. This is big. And this is what I've been looking for, the timing, the product. I couldn't ask for a better scenario. So I went all in the same day I saw that video. I said, okay, let's do it. And in the processes of us all changing over, bringing some of our team with us, I wasn't quite established. I only had about a handful of people, maybe 5 or 6 that I brought with me. And obviously they were a lot higher up in the company and brought quite a few other people with them. And through this process, all of a sudden they just disappeared. They just left me out high and dry. And I didn't even know which way to go. The only thing I remembered is everything that I had learned and was taught along those 1.5 years plus. And what I did was I started putting my head down and I started going to work. I told myself, and what I realized is that everything you do that's worth anything in life is going to be the hardest thing you ever do. And you're going to have to give up a lot of things that you're not going to want to give up to get where you want to be. And that's what I did. I had to drop a lot of things out of my life. I had to tell myself, I got a lot of crap going on. It's like Jeremy said, I don't want to dive into too much of it because there's a lot. But I will tell you this. If you guys have any reasons or excuses that are holding you back, trust me, I've been there and I've done it, and any of you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And so, like I said, I put my head down. And one thing I realized and what got me where I'm at is it wasn't about selling the product. It wasn't about going out and selling all the big hoops and dreams because, we all want that. We all know what it is. What I realized is I had to find out what real individuals wanted. I just had to start asking more questions. And that's one thing that I started doing was I started learning what people are and who they are. And when I finally figured that out, that's when I started training my team to do. I started training them on how, because I was doing this all by myself. I wasn't asking for any help from the upline except for questions that I needed answered and to meet a few of my people. And I just started grinding and teaching my people how to ask the right questions. I think a problem I realized in my past experience was I talked too much and I didn't listen enough. And that's where I realized it changed my business and it changed my life. And that's why I was able to hit diamond. And that's why my people are starting to grow as well below me, is I've taught them, just like I learned, is just to ask more questions. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people, we talk a lot and we're just shooting in the dark because what we don't realize is we're probably saying the things we think are right to be saying, but we don't know the right things to be saying because we didn't ask the right questions. And I think that's where I was getting lost in the past, and I think that's what's allowed me to get where I'm at today. Because we have a great opportunity. There's nobody that can touch what we have out there. But we got to find the right people that want to grow. And it's kind of like what these guys were talking about before, is it's not going to happen overnight. That's the second thing I realized. I had to realize that it's not going to happen when I want it to. It's going to happen when it's ready to. When I am mentally and physically able to lead a team of that size is when it will happen. So I had to learn how to grow and apply. Not just grow, because I see a lot of people that grow, but they never apply so they can learn and then find out what works best for them. So that was the biggest thing I learned out of all that, was to grow and apply. Grow and apply and ask a lot of questions. And that's why I'm at where I'm at today. And I'm very thankful, and I want to say I thank God too. I don't know if all you guys believe in God, but I do, and he's been a very big factor in this because I wanted to quit every day. I didn't want to do this anymore. I was pretty much done. But I told myself, well, why am I going to let every other circumstance in this world ruin my dreams and the ability to go change other people's lives that don't know about this type of stuff, that deserve that opportunity? Because everybody deserves what we have. And what I realized that anything that's good like this, the rest of the world seems to knock down. But as long as you persevere and stay consistent and persistent, you will get to the end of that tunnel and you will find those diamonds. So don't ever give up, guys. I love you. Appreciate you for letting me hop on.
Hey, love you back, bro. Love you back. Amazing. What else can I say, Travis? So,
Congratulations,
appreciate
Landon.
it.
Newest diamond in Diamond Network. Landon, we are proud of you, my brother. William, back to you.
Outstanding, and certainly I echo everything that's been said. Great job to you, Landon, and that really was a big part of what I was going to focus on as we wrap up here, and just in commitment. One of the things that Landon said is actually learning without applying. It means nothing. You know, knowledge is not true power. Only knowledge and action together is true power. I used to study Zen meditation, and I read a book once, and it said the best book about Zen is the book that gets you to put the book down and actually practice. And so I would tell you the best training that we can do is the one that actually makes you, after the training, go out and apply what you've heard. So if you want everyone that you have heard from this evening to know that you really got something from what they gave you here, then let their computer tell them, right? Let your upline know that you appreciate everything they're pouring into you by letting their computer tell them that you're actually going out and getting it done. And that is really a key point that we want to finish up here this evening with the training. We talked about it last week. We talked about it the week before. Mike Sims, who is on the training tonight, but just having a little bit of a flare-up with his back, so that we're carrying the torch here. But he says it all the time. It can't be a hollow week or a hollow month. It has to be a holiday. We're in that season now. If you want to differentiate yourself from everyone else out there, or at least 90% of the people, 99%, then you need to increase your activity, just like that gentleman I was telling you about who decided that on Thanksgiving he was going to make 100 calls, which he actually did. That is what will put you in the forefront going through December, and most importantly, into January and beyond. That is what will catapult your business forward, as you should know, because you've heard it here on this call before, that what you're doing now will show itself in the next 60 to 90 days. So if you want to have momentum in January and February, you need to be working as hard as you can now. And ultimately, that comes down to nothing else but being willing to make a commitment. And the saying goes, commitment is doing what you said you do long after the mood you said it in has left you. And all of us every day have decisions that we need to make. I had one today. Was I going to relax, or was I going to work out real quick before this call? I made a commitment back in August that I was going to get myself back in the shape that I really should have been in all along. But it takes those small decisions, because small decisions add up to larger decisions. And ultimately, if you think about it, your decisions create your direction. Your direction is what's going to create your destiny. So it's fine if you get fired up, you get excited, and you make some commitments here tonight. But where the rubber meets the road is tomorrow or next week or whenever it is, when you've got to do that thing that is tough. And at the end of the day, tough people do tough things. I heard a quote on the radio the other day. It was attributed to Mark Twain, did a little research on it, and they don't really know who said it, some French guy in the 1700s or so. But it basically goes like this. If you get up every morning and you eat a live frog, then you probably know that you've done the most difficult thing that you would have to do all day. In other words, what it's saying is do the tough stuff first. Don't put it off. Do the things that you don't really want to do. Get them out of the way. We've all been there before when we've had something to do that was kind of unpleasant, something that, you know, we wanted the what it brought us, but we really didn't want to go through the process of doing it. And then once we did it, just the fact that we had taken that step, we got a sense of accomplishment out of it. The leaders on the line have been exactly in that same position as well. Each and every day, we're faced with the same choices that you're faced with. So here's what I would suggest you do. Steve gave you the mindset. Travis gave you the promotions and some of the application and told you what he's doing. Now comes the commitment phase. I would suggest that you make a commitment. I would suggest you follow what Travis and myself and others have indicated we're doing. Remake that list and then make a commitment each day that you're going to approach a certain number of people. Now, here's the key, guys. We have to be goal getters, not just goal setters. And I find so many people get fired up in a setting like this, and maybe they haven't talked to anyone in the last week or 2 weeks or a month, and then they decide they're going to talk to 10 people a day. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. However, you have to actually build some momentum. You have to set yourself up to be a goal getter, not just a goal setter, because understanding that goal getting promotes confidence, and it becomes a perfect storm to the good where you create momentum in your business. Ultimately, the more goals you set for yourself that you achieve, the more momentum that you will personally have. That will ultimately lead to momentum in your business. So what you need to do, whatever goal you set for yourself that you're going to do for the remainder of the week until we actually until we come back together on next Tuesday, whatever goal you set, you have to be able to justify how you're going to make that happen. And this is the last piece, and then I'm done. But this is very important. It's the most important thing that I could share with you here tonight about this portion of the training. You have to be able subconsciously to believe that you're actually going to achieve that goal. So here's what I mean. If I've got a list of 10 people and I say I'm going to talk to 15 people a day, subconsciously, I will never believe that that's going to happen because I have no idea where that activity is going to come from. On the other hand, if I have a list of 100, 200, 300 people, and I say I'm going to talk to 5 people a day, well, it's logical to me subconsciously because I know I can just call 5 people off my list. Now, I'm not saying that your list should be the only way that you actually reach people, but what I am saying, whatever your strategy, and I've used the example before, you've heard me talk about the guy who had the button that was like Flavor Flav's clock. That's one strategy. The gentleman that I mentioned who called the 100 people on Thanksgiving, he actually, one of his strategies, he uses car signs. And he has it down to a science in terms of what those car signs yield to him on a weekly basis. So here's what I want you to understand. If in his case, his goal is to speak to 5 people a day, and he knows that his car signs on average yield 3 people a day, then logically and subconsciously he'll reason, well, I only need, through my other strategies, to find 2 more people that I can actually speak to, and therefore his subconscious will allow him to take action to make those goals, to make that goal a reality. So whatever goal you set, just make sure you have the strategy in place that will allow you to be a goal getter, not just a goal setter. Will build momentum. What I would suggest we do here as we're wrapping up, make a public commitment. You certainly can put it here in the chat, how many people you're going to speak to each day for the remainder of this week and into next Monday. And you can report back here next Tuesday on the chat as well. So do those 2 things. How many people you're going to approach each and every day. You can post it here. You also can make sure that you let your upline know so that you're making that public commitment. Make sure you let someone know who will hold you accountable each and every day. Report into them as to what you did this day. It's very simple. You know, your upline, your mentor doesn't need a whole long explanation. Well, I said this, and then she said this, and then I said this. You know, we'll know if you can actually describe every interaction you've had, then you're probably not getting to enough people. So make that commitment, whatever your number is, post it here right now, throw caution to the wind, make a public commitment. If you are serious, if you're not just simply trying this, if you're not dabbling, if you want to get out of being a secret agent in World Global, so deep undercover that nobody knows that you're involved, if you want to get out of that, if you want 2018 to be your year, the best year you've had, if you want to achieve the success that people like Landon and Jeremy and Steve and Travis and Mike and many others have achieved, you've got to begin to do what they do. They make public commitments. You make a public commitment here as well. We've got them coming in now on the chat. Keep them coming. Keep those public commitments coming. And with that, guys, we appreciate your time. The other thing that I'd like you to do is to make sure that you come back next week with at least one person with you. We've got 72 people now on this training. That's great, but it's nowhere near where we should be. It's certainly higher than we had last week, but we should be 200 people minimum on a weekly basis. Get at least one more person with you. And if you can stretch, bring 2 more people. We'll be 150 to 200 next week. And we will take that critical mass, we'll take that momentum into the month of December, where we, as the Diamond Network, will plant our flag. We will set the standard. We will ultimately put the rest of this company on notice that we are absolutely the top team in World Global. So with that, I appreciate everyone's time. Just want to ask if there's any last words that any of the panelists have, and give those of you who are deciding whether you're going to make your public commitment to make it before we wrap up. Do any of the panelists have any last words that you'd like to say?
It's Mike Sims here. I'll just say it's a phenomenal call today. Great insights from all the leadership. Steve got us kicked off. William, you wrapped it up, and Travis, of course, going over the promos, and Landon. Can't wait to get a chance to meet you personally. Inspiring story tonight, and I know so many people can relate to that story. And we know just the beginning for you. And I just want to encourage everybody to take the business seriously. I know sometimes people get involved in a business like this, and if I take a look at the people who are having the most success in network marketing as a whole, or World Global Network as a whole, majority of the time they're the people who have put themselves in a position, maybe they've been full-time in network marketing for a long period of time, or whatever the scenario is, they're the people who don't have a choice but to go out and do it every day. And one of the hardest things that I find that people have to do in network marketing is do this when you don't have to. One of the craziest things I ever did, or that I did in my network marketing career, was I went full-time from day one. Craziest thing I did. I quit my job, went full-time day one. Some of you heard the story. The first couple of weeks were a struggle for me. The lights got cut off. All kind of stuff was not going right. I didn't know what I was doing. And I went to a training, and it turned everything around. But the difference was I had to figure out how to make it work, because I had already burned my bridges. Now, am I telling anybody on the call tonight to go burn your bridge? No, absolutely not. It'd be crazy to quit your job and go full-time in network marketing. But somehow you have to figure out how to trick your brain and to say, hey, I'm full-time in this business. Because guess what? Over the last 17, almost 18 years now, I've seen where people were part-time in network marketing, and the next day, or all of a sudden, they had to go full-time in network marketing. Something changed in their business or in their job. And so I found that the people who are successful, or the most successful in network marketing, they may be part-time, but they have a full-time mentality. They have a no choice mentality. If you were full-time, if your income depended upon World Global, and that's it, there would be no question if you'd be on the calls or not. There would be no question if you would have guests or not. There would be no question if you were already registered for LA or not. There would be no question whether you were doing exposures every single day or not. So it's very, very important that when you're not full-time and you don't have to, quote unquote, do this business, find it in your mind or find it in your heart or your reason why that you are doing this business and have a full-time mentality. And if you really, really think about it, even those of us who are full-time in the business, if we collapse all the hours that we put into the business, we probably, put in about 20 good hard hours a week, 25 good hard hours a week doing the business. The rest of the time we're with our family or doing things that are preparation for business. That's what we're doing. So if you really think about it, this business is a part-time business. Our mentality, though, is that we don't have a choice whether to go out and do the activities or not, and that makes all the difference. So I just encourage everybody to have a full-time mentality, even though that you're part-time, and just watch what happens when you turn that switch to getting that mindset that I must go do these activities every day. Watch the difference that it makes. William, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, that says it all, guys. There is a President Millionaire, and he's where we want to be, so we should all follow his lead. So with that, that's going to wrap up tonight's call. Thank you so much to all of our presenters, and to Landon, congratulations, and all of you who made public commitments. Remember, we're going to do a couple things. Make that commitment, make it to the upline as well, and make sure we're goal getters, not just goal setters, and bring at least one person back next week. With that, that concludes Diamond Network training for tonight. Have a great week, and God bless.